Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, August 18th, 2016. I'm Lafern Fraser with the details. Opposition leader and president of the New Democratic Party, Anim Eustace, says he welcomes any investigation into his party's funding. Eustace made this comment during today's New Times radio program in response to claims from Prime Minister Gonsalves that 1.3 million EC dollars was reportedly deposited in a bank account, the holder of which supposedly has ties to the NDP. The NDP leader explained that the deposit, which was made just prior to the 2015 elections, was a contribution for the party's campaign purposes, and it had gone through the normal processes without any difficulties from the bank. Eustace maintains that the party has nothing to hide.
These are monies we got, and I welcome these investigations they're talking about, about local and international investigations. I welcome the investigation. We haven't done anything wrong. We sought different sources of funds to fund our campaign. That is one of the sources which brought us some money. And that money we used during the election campaign. I wonder what about the $1 million at NTB that we couldn't find. I don't hear anything about that anymore. What about the money spent to bring in goods from a farm in Jamaica to give away to people? And that's using public funds. What about that? And Petrocurry money being used to pay back some of that money. Petrocurry money which were not under the control of the Consolidated Fund.
In Parliament last Friday, August 12th, during the cybercrime bill debate, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves cautioned Senator Jules Ferdinand, stating he should be wary of being involved with the NDP. Dr. Gonsalves said that while persons within the NDP are investigating whether or not he has an offshore HSBC account, Ferdinand should take the responsibility of investigating other matters that are taking place within his own party.
But one of the things I wanted to ask, when you're on the mythical hunt, Honorable Senator Ferdinand, for HSBC and Panama Papers connection, I'm asking you to look at a Belizean connection. You may not know about it. Those who higher in the party than you may know. Or ancillary to the party who is connected to the high up in the party. Find out about whether you got, not you, whether the institution to which you belong got $1.34 million just a week to 10 days before the last election. And how it went. Find that out.
During today's call-in program, Eustace also expressed his disappointment with the Searchlight newspaper, whom he said did not see it fit to contact him first before running with the story on the issue. AIDS is no longer a death sentence, so says Dr. James St. Catherine, project coordinator for the HIV/AIDS and tuberculosis program. Dr. St. Catherine was speaking at the closing ceremony of the OECS multi-country strategic response to an HIV and TB elimination inception meeting. She noted that the project, which costs an estimated $5.2 million, is aimed at eliminating HIV and tuberculosis and comes on the heels of the OECS Commission mechanism, which is in collaboration with the Global Fund.
The Global Fund expects from us that we will, at the end of this 3-year process, have achieved sustainability in the response. And what they want is, what they're saying is this: the funding they're now providing to the countries is intended for the local capacity to be developed, to give the responsible agencies, such as the government, an opportunity to look at ways in which they will strengthen their health system to accommodate HIV, and also the opportunity to be able to fine-tune what they're doing so they can benefit from economies of scale, and to be able to open new revenue streams as is required to ensure that the work that is being started under the project is continued to the point of elimination. So they have that expectation.
Dr. St. Catherine emphasized that the government has a vital role to play with the execution of the 3-year project, which is also geared toward health system strengthening and further addresses some human rights issues.
One, they cannot operate vitae, as we call it. They have to operate observing certain standards. So they need to be built in terms of their capacity. The second thing, they need to have a niche. Not everybody should be doing everything. Where's your comparative advantage? And they need to have one critical thing, accountability for whatever goes their way, so that they can justify to the public the expenditures that they are hoping to incur. And the last thing I want to say to civil society organizations, you have to be part of the country's movement. You cannot be out there on your own. You have to be part and parcel of a synergistic response. And that is where I'm hoping that we can see the relationship, the alliance that we're talking about coming together under the leadership of government.
The project is expected to operate guided by the goals of eliminating HIV/AIDS by 2030 and tuberculosis by 2050, and will also see the participation of other Caribbean countries such as Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada, Dominica, St. Lucia, and St. Kitts and Nevis. Meanwhile, Registrar for Infectious Diseases here, Dr. Jose Davy, announced that this country's HIV infection rate has remained steady over the years.
As of June 2016, we have on treatment 367 patients, 60 of which are seen privately. As of December 2015, we have 335 patients in care in hospital. Our numbers have been stable in terms of how many persons become infected with HIV. 2015, we saw 67 new cases, 2014, 65. So on average, we have roughly 60 to 65 persons. What does this all mean for us? It means that our work is not over and we have to maintain our efforts. So coming to a session such as this was important to let me know how I'm going to get funding to continue the work for persons living with HIV/AIDS.
Stakeholders in the insurance and financial sectors are gaining useful knowledge as SVG hosts a seminar by the Caribbean Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors, or CARIFA. Speaking at the opening ceremony, CARIFA's president, Withorp Catwell, said his organization mandate is to bring the Caribbean closer together through financial services and has been providing educational courses, annual congresses, meetings, and programs. Catwell added that insurance and financial advice services are of key importance to the sustainability of the region's economy, and his organization will continue to build the capacity of the stakeholders in this sector.
Why do we do that? We do that because we know that this industry is the one that will ensure that the Caribbean survives as a region. Yes, tourism produces a lot of income, a lot of visitors to the country and so on, but to sustain any economy, the money has to be well managed. And that is the responsibility we have, to ensure that we help to train people at the embryonic stage of their life. We help to encourage and advise their parents as to how they should manage their affairs so that their children can continue to be educated, to be fed, to be sheltered in the event of their death, that they can continue their lives in a way that will not be totally devastating.
Also speaking at the opening ceremony was William Wiltshire, the Education Council chairman, who stated that CARIFA has been providing educational courses aimed at building the capacity of the financial industry stakeholders.
We are playing our part in terms of ensuring that our members have what it takes to go out there and be professional in terms of interacting with their membership, with their clients. So we try to take nothing for granted. As we go forward, we expect that throughout the region, and I mean, it has been said that there are different standards in different countries relative to legislation, relative to certification and that. We are trying to, across the board, level the playing field. So the weaker territories, the smaller territories, which are not necessarily weaker territories, but in terms of the context of which I speak.
CAREFA Marketing Director and President of the Vincentian Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors, Andre Boyd, said the seminar creates an opportunity to better market SVG's products and services.
Not only that, but I'm also happy that St. Vincent has a part or a seat on the board of CAREFA, and that is very much a significant achievement, and it really shows that the information that is shared and the gifts and abilities that they see in us can be duly recognized. And so I'm taking St. Vincent throughout the Caribbean. And so wherever I go, the name St. Vincent and the Grenadines must be heard, must be seen. And it's really, I'm really excited about all that is happening. Our association is excited, and certainly St. Vincent will hear more of CAREFA and of VINIFA. Those two names will go together like horse and a carriage, and we're really happy that all this is going down here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force is currently investigating the circumstances surrounding the disappearance of 23-year-old Kahili Tupac Oliver, also known as Q of Golden Vale, Caliqua. Oliver is a dark-skinned male, 5 feet 8 inches tall, with afro-textured hair, brown eyes, and weighs about 140 pounds. Oliver was last seen on August 4th at around 4:47 p.m. at Duggan's shop in Caliqua. His dress code is unknown. The RSVG police force is asking the general public for their assistance in locating Mr. Oliver. This country has recorded its best CSEC performance ever as top student Eric February obtained 20 subject passes with 17 ones and 3 twos. SVG-TV News caught up with Eric himself and his proud parents. According to him, it took a lot of hard work and sacrifices from which today he is reaping the benefits. February's parents told SVG-TV News that the decision for their son to sit 20 subjects took a lot of planning and preparation, as time management and balance played a huge role over the 2-year period. Nolisha Miller has more in this report.
Though it has been accomplished in other islands before, this year is the first that a Vincentian student sat and attained all 20 subjects in one sitting of the CSEC examinations. Eric February, a 16-year-old student of the Mountain View Adventist Academy, is an outstanding lad. The soft-spoken student said that he is no different from any other student, and he simply received the results from which he invested the work.
I, personally, am just an average person. The only reason I was able to succeed as well as I did was because I believe not only in myself, but in God as the one who leads, the one who directs. My philosophy is that if you go to do something, you must do it wholeheartedly. There must be no doubts in your mind that you are able to do it, that you will succeed. And that kind of confidence can only be born, can only have roots in the promise made by God that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. And it was that promise that helped keep me going.
The top student says instead of going on to the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College, as most of his colleagues, he will defer and enroll directly to a university.
I'm not going to the community college. I plan to go straight to university from here. I'll be going to the University of the Southern Caribbean in Trinidad. There I'll study biology and theology as a double major.
Trishelle and Desmond February are the proud parents of the top scholar, who are also teachers at his school. They explained that from an early stage they recognized Eric's academic ability, and they thought it best to give him the necessary support in his educational pursuit.
I remember when he was going from Form 3 to Form 4, I sat with him. He would have been talking right through Form 3 of what he wanted to do. And this is exactly what the conversation was. I said, you can write 15 or 16 subjects and compete with Vincentians for the top students in St. Vincent, or you can write 19 or 20 subjects and compete with the Caribbean. He chose the 19 or 20.
Desmond, Eric's mathematics teacher, said he is an excellent math student. Eric's mother, Trishelle February, who is a business studies teacher, said She took advantage of the weekends to invest the time to help Eric with his preparation for the business subjects.
Eric was originally in the science class, so he wasn't a part of my full-time business class. But he being my son, and I have him at my disposal, we started the business subjects in Form 4. So by the time Eric was at the end of Form 4, he was fully prepared, especially for accounts. And we built on that with the office administration and principles of business in Form 5. But the only subject I really helped him with was the accounts. The POB and the office administration, he basically did that on his own. And that's the kind of student he is. He can do a lot on his own.
They described their son as an independent student and one who indulged in a lot of reading. And as parents, they described Eric a humble child. The Mountain View Adventist Academy recorded a pass rate of 76%, which Principal Gabriel Bowman noted is an exceptional performance. Nolisha Miller, The Evening News.
The St. Vincent Girls High School for yet another year recorded the highest CSEC pass rate for all secondary schools in the country. The all-girls institution continues to dominate the CSEC examinations locally, with the 2016 preliminary results showing a 97.19% pass rate. SVG-TV's Nikita Tony spoke with the headmistress of the Girls High School, Andrea Bowman, and filed this report.
St. Vincent Girls High School has once again topped the CSEC results for all secondary schools in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, recording a 97.19% pass rate. Headmistress of the Girls High School, Andrea Bowman, congratulated her students for a job well done in their examinations, noting that the institution, which is 105 years old, continues to improve in various subject areas in the May-June exams.
We wrote in 26 subject areas, okay? And we had 17 subject areas recording 100% passes. English A. English A. There was only one failure in English A, which I'm going to query. And 123 girls wrote English A, and we have 99 grade 1s. The pass rate for general math this year, which includes 57 fourth formers, was 95.37%. And that's quite pleasing. Generally, I know they worked hard. You know, teachers worked hard, parents worked hard, and this has been consistent with this school. You know, we do put a whole lot in, but it's just that we need to do more.
Having copped the top spot for the last 12 years, Bowman says she remains confident that the school will one day achieve a 100% pass rate in the CSEC examinations.
But hearing the results, you know, there was some measure of relief because, you know, when you're at the top, there's always this pressure to maintain that position. So there was, you know, some relief. And I always want them to get 100%. You see, last year they had got 98.3%, which was the highest percentage the school had ever got. We had got that percentage, 98.3, in 2011. Our centenary graduates had got that, and last year's graduates equaled that. So I needed us to keep on moving. And I still feel that one day it could happen.
Gaining 13 passes with 12 ones and 1-2, GHS top performer Jessica Prescott said she is surprised as to how well she did. The former GHS head girl and aspiring engineer advised future CSEC candidates to always strive for their best and to pursue subjects they have a love for.
It was a surprise to me because, I mean, I expected to be among the top, but I didn't expect to be at the very top. 29 of us sat math exam last year, and then this year we got a choice to do the additional maths program, so that's what we did. 20 of us sat it.
So you have maths and additional maths.
Don't take on more than you can handle, because there's a lot of pressure to do good, and sometimes if you take on more than you can handle, you might break, as you say. Do subjects that you have an absolute love for, because if you don't have a love for the subject, you'll find yourself not interested, and then that would lead to you falling back in class.
Preliminary results of the examination show that 5 other local institutions recorded percentage pass rates of 80% or more. They include the St. Vincent Grammar School with 94.29%, the St. Joseph's Convent Kingstown with 91.76%, the St. Martin's Secondary School with 87.62%, the Thomas Saunders Secondary School with 86.75%, and the St. Joseph's Convent Mariaqua with 80.58% passes. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
And the significance of having quality teachers and leadership in schools is being emphasized by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. Prime Minister Gonsalves was speaking this morning on a radio program as he commended the students, teachers, and parents on the performance of the CSEC examinations, which saw a 72% pass rate in English and a 47% in mathematics. Providing a preliminary assessment of the results, Prime Minister Gonsalves says that the education sector is on an overall right track, but a lot more training is needed for teachers so they could better impart their knowledge to improve the results.
The importance of quality teaching and quality leadership in the schools. And so we continue to have some unevenness in both areas, and we have to work harder. And of course, we're doing a lot more training of teachers. And clearly, the students themselves have to have it in them to have the discipline and the focus. But a lot of that has to be inculcated by teachers and, of course, parents. It's part of the conversation which has to be initiated for us to, as good as we are doing, to do much better.
Dr. Gonsalves further pointed out that the subject area of mathematics, which had a 10% decrease in passes, must be examined. He, however, pointed out that the pass rate for mathematics was not only a national issue, but a regional one.
But we fell from last year to this year by about 10 percentage points in terms of the numbers of students who pass the math. So we need to examine. I should point out that it's a general problem across the region, and the 47% number of the students who pass math. That is comparatively with several other countries in the region, it's a better showing, because several of them you have in the 20s and 30s. But we need to do better. We need to do better than that, and it starts from how we are teaching the children mathematics in the primary schools.
The Prime Minister also used the time to encourage those students who did not perform well this year, noting that this was an opportunity for them to refocus and try again.
I congratulate all those who have succeeded, and I want to say to those who have not succeeded that, look, you're young. You just pick yourself up again, because there are opportunities to recite, whether in the school itself or outside of school. There are lots of programs, so it's not the end of the world. And I don't want parents to be getting down on their children and badgering them and make them feel very bad. But at the same time, we have to indicate that, look, we have to do, where we didn't reach the required level, we need to do better. It is the nature of life. And we have a setback, we turn that setback into an advance. And we have to inculcate that also in our students.